A very good morning to you, dear listener, and welcome to Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makurdi, Benue State. Today, 27th of September, this edition of Perspectives focus on World Tourism Day and Benue's potential in the tourism sector. The United Nations designates September 27 every year as World Tourism Day. It is a day which is celebrated to recognize the role of tourism in economic development and social-cultural impact it has worldwide. It also aims to create a sustainable tourism industry for future generations. According to statistics, tourism sector is one area that Nigeria, particularly in the travel and tourism sector, has contributed up to 3.6% to Nigeria's GDP in 2022, which is equal to around 17.3 billion US dollars. And Nigeria and Benue State, as we join in the observance of this World Tourism Day, we have been joined here in the studio by two discussants who will drive the conversation on the potential Benue State also have in the tourism sector and how they can be maximized to socio-economic benefit to promote cultural heritage as well. These are the issues we will try to find answers to on this edition. Dr. Zack Wade is a lecturer in the Department of Theatre Arts at the Benue State University, Makurdi. Welcome to Agate Radio, Dr. Wade.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And the Student Affairs Officer and Head of Department Consultancy Services, National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, North Central Zonal Campus here in Makurdi, Patrick Abengowe is also our guest on Perspectives. Welcome to Agate Radio, Mr. Abengowe.
Thank you for having me too.
A happy World Tourism Day to you and your organization. Dear listener, if you are tuning in for the first time, kindly be informed that Perspectives is audience participatory, usually broadcast from now to 11 a.m. And at 10 o'clock, we allow you to call in to share thoughts with us on the subject we are discussing. You can do so by reaching us on 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. And that will be at 10 o'clock. Our SMS line, which is available for you to contribute through text or WhatsApp chat, is 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. You may log onto our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to also listen to this program and access other contents of Agate Radio. You follow us on our social media pages. You can also download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, which you can also listen to the radio, watch the television, and read the newspaper. We're available also on Radio Garden. All these platforms were there to serve you. We'll take a short break, and once we are back, our engagement here in the studio will begin. Don't go away. Kindly stay tuned, dear listener. Thank you for staying tuned and welcome back from that short break. I'd like to begin with you, Mr. Abengowe. Kindly give us your understanding of the World Tourism Day, a brief background about it.
Thank you so much. Bring you greetings on behalf of my Director General and my Head of Campus. The concept of World Tourism Day's theme for this year, Tourism and Peace, is to emphasize the role tourism plays in enhancing peace in a community or a country. That is the essence of that theme. Given the world level of insecurity that the world is passing through now, we discover that peace is highly essential. And since tourism involves traveling of people to different places. There is need for peace to exist before tourism can take place effectively and be able to contribute its quota to that community or country.
Okay, so the impact of World Tourism Day since its declaration decades ago by the United Nations and its observance of September 27, to what extent has that been achieved?
It has not really been unsuccessful. Each year has its own theme, and what the World Tourism Organization intends to accomplish. To an extent, you could say that progresses have been made in various fields and disciplines, especially given the fact that, like I said, tourism is what everybody is involved in. So everybody carries tourism to wherever he or she goes. And each year the theme is being practiced in many places, is being taken into consideration in many places, creating awareness of the role of tourism and the theme to contribute to the overall development of the community, of the country, and contribute economically to the development of that country and community also.
Okay, Dr. Wade, let me have your thoughts on what you make of the World Tourism Day.
I think tourism generally is an attraction. You are attracted to a particular event. Tourism, people, go to places, most times historical places, historical events. They are attracted by a particular thing. Most times it is that particular thing that it triggers tourism. For example, you want to go and see where the first story building was erected or built in Lagos. You want to go and see the first story building in Nigeria, where it was built. It's a historical site. You want to see where Takuruku was buried. It could be a historical site. So it's an attraction, and it's a big money earner. It's a big money earner, like it was said earlier. It contributes a lot to the GDP of a country, or a community. So it's an attraction. What attracts people to go and see? It is the scene, and it provides information, education, and of course you get entertained in the process too. And it's a day set aside for people to go back and look at these things in different perspectives, what it can contribute to knowledge development and economic development too.
Okay, earlier on, your co-discussant already stated the theme for the World Tourism Day this year, which is tourism and peace. To what extent can tourism promote peace?
Yeah, it can promote peace if the avenue is given, it's set. You see, I don't know which of them comes first, whether peace will now promote tourism or tourism will promote peace. But first, there should be a conducive environment to attract people to a particular region. That's where we say peace is promoting tourism. And then tourism promoting peace through interaction. You go to a place that is not yours, that you're not conversant with, and you make friends, you borrow culture, you bring it to your own people, you integrate it. And then that now gives a cultural interaction, and then you can foster peace in the process too. That's my thinking.
Okay, Mr. Abengowe, looking at Benue, what can you say are the low-hanging fruits in the tourism sector?
Benue State, if tourism is administered the way it should be administered, it has the potential to be a huge economic benefit, to provide huge economic benefit to the state in terms of, because tourism involves going and spending. When you go to a community, you are expected to spend. And as you spend, you are contributing to the overall development of that community. Now, Benue State has so many attractions. Some of them, I must say, have gone moribund, and they need to be reactivated. Like most of these attractions, if I'm not mistaken, are located in remote areas or villages or local government areas. Now, at that level, serious attention is needed to be given. I will tell you why. Now, at local government level, there ought to be what we call a local government tourism committee for each local government. That committee is responsible for identifying tourist attractions, recommending them to the State Tourism Board for development, and then it will be put into use. Now, when you don't have a tourism committee at that level, it will be very difficult. Now, I don't have any data to prove that the state does not have tourism committees or that it has. But sources I contacted informed me that at this level, it's either it has never existed or it has gone moribund. In this case, if it was in existence and it was either scrapped or for whatever reason it's no longer in existence, it needs to be revisited. Because at that level, if tourism is not developed, it will affect communities that are hosting these attractions. And when they are affected in that way, it means that tourists will no longer be going to those communities. And if tourists don't go to those communities, it means that the benefits of tourism, which has to do with also cultural exchange, and cultural exchange which also brings peace, because it has to do with interaction and exchange of experiences and lifestyles, then peace may not actually exist in those places, given the present situations that we have found ourselves. So at that level, it ought to be developed. Secondly, state tourism boards. If the state has state tourism boards, has a state tourism board, it should be active in the sense that it should go into action by re-identifying the sites that ought to be given far more attention than the others. And it also needs to reactivate those sites that have gone moribund, and then recommend them to the state government. What I know that they have of a certainty is the State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. So if the State Ministry of Culture and Tourism will be able to realize that without tourism, because everybody is involved in tourism, without tourism, the element of peace may not be as we expect it. Now, what I mean is this. If, like myself, I travel from Benue to probably Kasinala, where there are crises, I will be able to contribute my own quota economically, socially, culturally, and there will be exchange of ideas. In that way, I'm contributing my own quota to the development of peace in that area. So also somebody coming from that side to my side or any other place. So adequate attention needs to be given, because it is a huge huge economic earner for the state. Your hospitality industry is part of tourism. These hotels that you see have the tendency to booster peace, because people from other states and communities visit the town of Makurdi, for example. They meet different kinds of people, they interact. they share ideas, and as they do so, they learn from each other, and then they realize the roles they can play to foster peace in those communities through hospitality and through tourism. I'm adding hospitality because they go together.
Absolutely. Okay, Dr. Wade, what are the low-hanging fruits you can identify in Benue? Some of the tourist sites which are, like your co-discussant mentioned, that may need to be reactivated for Benue to harness proper potential in this sector.
Yeah, we have a lot in Benue. I remember the Ikogen cattle ranch, which if properly harnessed, a land could even rival that of the Obudu cattle ranch. It's a very big tourist attraction center. It's a ranch. It has been lying there. I think it was a Perico administration or so that actually started the project, and it has been lying like that unexplored up till now. Again, I know of the Abengowe. Abengowe is supposed to even rival that.
Maybe we should, for purpose of the listener who may be hearing about some of these sites for the first time, Ikogen Cattle Ranch, I suppose, is in Kwande,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And Abengowe is in Ushongo local government, right? Yeah.
Okay. And so it's like we've heard of the Abengowe Fishing Festival, and from what we have heard, the Abengowe is a big lake. That's what I heard. If harnessed properly, could still attract a lot of people for to come and witness the activities there. Of course, that reminds me of the Akata Fishing Festival too, which had started so well.
That's in Katsina,
yeah,
local government.
Yeah,
very well.
Started very well, but has been left, like that, lying like that. I've not heard of any activity around there, like a celebration of an activity there. So I think that needs to be looked into too. The three of them here, and I know culturally too. I know that some activities, theatrical activities, that have been left for long. I know the Kwahi.
That's the Kwahi pupet.
It houses a lot of the arts, songs, dances, and Kwahi is a total package that contains almost all art forms, amongst the TIV particularly. We hardly hear of Kwahi competitions. The actors there, what I mean is the custodians, the people who are the custodians of this part of the TIV culture, and they are nowhere to be found, probably because they don't get sponsorship. They don't have the money to continue with that. They are very content with globalization now, so they need to be properly, empowered for them to go back to their shrines and come up with new concepts and make the tradition get a bigger attraction and patronage. I remember Professor Gawan Doki, who is a Center president now and a lecturer in BSU. In the last 4 years back, was sponsored by UNESCO. He had packaged Kwahi and took it to Colombia. It received a very wide applause, and they're still looking for more. UNESCO is so much interested in reviving Kwahi and putting the TIV culture on the global scale in terms of cultural richness. We need to explore these things too. As a kid too, growing up, what I liked about Christmas was the prospect of watching the Mamewata. Some call it Jobaku, some call it, Mamewata. It grazed every Christmas, and it made people hungry to go back home to watch some of these activities. We don't have them again. I think we need to go back and empower the custodians of these activities, these cultural expressions, to continue to give us that which are almost going moribund or extinct. Let's revive them. That will encourage tourism, as the expert in tourism here is saying. It will encourage people to do more, to come home, and that will bring visitors to come. Let's see how this is done. Now, I'll give you an example. If I tell a friend who is not from the TIV environment that there's a kwahi, a puppet show, masquerade show, that you could see someone fly a chopper made from wood, comes down, touches down, goes out, exchanges pleasantries, goes back and takes off. And there's nothing that is manipulated electronically to make these things work. Pure wood and strings. Would you believe that? And the curiosity of you, let me see how this is done, might make you put money together, go for a holiday, lodge in a hotel, meet the people, and watch that. So these are the things that we need to explore and bring back. What we think has been lost, we could still bring them back. And like he said, that will generate a lot of money, both for the government, for the traditional authorities that are custodians to this, and the people generally. I think these are the areas that we need to look into.
Okay. In fact, when you mentioned the puppet theater, which Professor Gawan Doki took to Colombia 4 years ago in the past administration, of course, we remember UNESCO inscribed Kwahi as one of the intangible cultural heritage that should be celebrated around the world. Exactly. So it's a big plus. But Mr. Abengowe, you have the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism. To what extent is your institute operating here in Benue, harnessing the potential of some of these tourist attractions your co-discussant has pointed out?
What he said at Night Hotel.
Yes.
We came into Benue in the year 2021. Unofficially, we came 4 years earlier, but officially, we commenced training in the areas of tourism and hospitality in 2021. And we offer courses that encourage people to go into tourism. We are working alongside with the Benue State Minister of Tourism, Culture, Information, Culture and Tourism since we came. And even before we came, we have been in touch. And what we are been able to do in terms of contribution has been to offer programs to intending or interested people who may want to go into tourism as a discipline, as a profession, who may want to go into hospitality aspect as a discipline or as entrepreneurs. We enable them to acquire skills that will enable them function in those areas. And that's what we've been doing for now. And let me even give you this. By day before yesterday, we were at the Special Forces cantonment, where we met the commander, the brigade commander and his team, and we presented our desire to train their women in certain skills, so that they will have to be able to contribute to the earnings of their husbands. Because no woman now can comfortably and confidently sensibly agree that, look, I'm a full-time housewife in this economic time. That tag is getting outdated. So the way we contribute is that to train people in certain skills so that they will become independent, self-reliant, and even be able to employ labor and contribute not only to their own welfare, the welfare of their families, but to the state in general, and by extension to the country. So essentially, we offer at Nahoto, we offer training programs through which we contribute our quota. But then, the training I talked to you about now, we are also in the process of meeting with the Nigerian Army School of Military Engineering. We are to meet them next week, but it has been postponed because the officials there are engaged. So we synergize with sister government organizations at federal and state levels and local government levels. We interact with them. We present our requests, our programs, and from time to time, they send their people to us for training.
Okay.
Thus far, that's how we've gone.
Okay, so you mean the institute has not actually dived into the tourist potentials of Benue to see how you will foster collaboration with the state government to utilize them even for your training of people in your programs, some of which your colleague pointed out?
Partially, because we are depending on the State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, because they are the custodians of these sites and attractions. So we are working in synergy with them. To an extent, we visited a few.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are still plans to visit more, to see where Nahoto can come in terms of training, in terms of consultancy services, in terms of helping to identify potential tourist attractions and sites, in terms of developing assisting in developing those sites, and giving our own input in terms of maintenance and how tourism ought to be practiced in those areas to benefit the tourists themselves, to benefit the communities, to benefit the state. And thus far, that's how far we've gone.
All right. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. Today is World Tourism Day, and that is what we are discussing, focusing on Benue's potential in the tourism sector. I have here in the studio two discussants. Dr. Zack Wade is a lecturer in the Department of Theatre Arts at the Benue State University, Makurdi, and also Student Affairs Officer at Head of Consultancy Services, National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, North Central Campus, Makurdi. Mr. Patrick Abengowe is with us on the program. Later at 10 o'clock, you can make the microphone yours by participating on the program. You call in on 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the line for SMS and WhatsApp chats is already activated for us to take your contribution through text and WhatsApp. That line is 0912-699-9404, 0912-699-9404. Log on to our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to listen to us and access all other content of Agate Radio. If you download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, you can also listen to us from any part of the world. We are available also on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where this program is streaming. Kindly join us there and feel free to drop your comments on our pages. Share the link with your friends to also be a part of the show. Dr. Wade, to what extent does tourism contribute to socio-economic development of a country in general?
Yeah, look, it's difficult to quantify, but I know that the tourism, let's look at the biggest cultural carnival in the world.
Very well.
It's in Brazil, city of Rio de Janeiro. It's very big, attracts people from every part of the world. Of course, when they go in there, what do? They need accommodation, like we have discussed before.
Which translates to boosting the hospitality sector on its own too, right?
Like my colleague here had said.
Yes.
And then in Africa, the biggest cultural festival, the Calabar Festival, which is called the biggest street party in Africa, where you have people from all walks of life. Initially it was a 1-month activity, but I learned that the governor, was it Duke? The Duke or so, now had cut it to a 2-week activity, where you have a lot of spectacular performances, competitions, beauty pageant, and even a canoe regatta, the race on the, it's very colorful when you take it to the river. And so you had a lot of very attractive activities. And that has helped the Calabar, the Cross River State capital, and the people living around that area. It has helped them so much. People invest. But like I said, the people's lives need to be secured before most of these things come to fruition. They need to be free. They need to be safe. So we need to first make people safe before they are free to visit, to stay and enjoy whatever package you have for them. Again, in South Africa, they do the same thing. That one is called, it's in Grahamstown. It's a cultural festival too. People come from all walks of life. So we have a lot in Africa, a lot. And in Benue, like I had highlighted, we need to empower the Minister of Arts and Culture.
Yes, currently the portfolio of the ministry, information, culture, and tourism.
That sector needs to be empowered. You see, if you go there, they are known for, presently, unfortunately, they are known for swangy dance, and dances. The song aspect, the storytelling aspect, the reaching out to look for artists, come and sing, solo artists, these things are hardly there. They know what to do, but I think they are not empowered. So if we empower that sector, definitely it will give us that which we need, what we are clamoring for. We need to explore deeper. And again, we need to look at, thankfully, we have a lot of other activities coming up. There is a Keishashwa, which is a culinary festival. But that one too needs to be made, more attractive. The government needs to come in there and help the people who are holding it up now. I think it's Father Solomon Mfa who is pushing for the recognition of that, which brings peace. Come together, let's eat. As we eat, we discuss what our problems are, and we'll find a solution. So that definitely will attract a lot of people. And like we should know, the activity itself, because of the package, because the activities line up for most activities, an activity might attract a particular person. Another activity might attract another tourist. So when you have these collaborative forms together in one activity, people definitely must be, they must find that attractive because it's variety. You pick from what you want, and then you go there to be entertained from that particular perspective. And so, of course, I learned the apostolic thing too in Abuja, more specifically in Abuja. It's an agricultural thing, but it reminds you of the apostolic, which is supposed to be small yams that you can peel with your hands and sever it in red oil and eat. Coming together to eat it doesn't actually mean the people need to eat yam. It's a call. Let's eat together, dialogue together, and discuss that which produces this, which I learned the theme for this year was about agricultural, boost your agricultural production. So you see what happens. So you come in there to get yourself entertained, and then you are educated and you are informed in the process too. So largely, we stand to benefit a lot if we package some of these things properly.
Okay, Mr. Abengowe. Currently, according to research, the nation has at least 56 national monuments which are serving as tourism sites. To what extent are these contributing to socio-economic development of Nigeria?
Now, when you talk about international tourism, it involves nationals from other countries coming into your country. And when they do, several things are involved. And one of such things is that they bring in foreign currency. And that contributes so much to the economic coffers of the country. Now, when particular sites are designated United Nations World Tourism Monument, that we call it tourism sites, it entails that the focus of attention will be that site, especially from foreign tourists, before even thinking of other sites within the country. So that site alone attracts so much. My doctor talked about the Abengowe Fishing Festival.
Yes.
Now, if you take a look at that festival, it attracts so many tourists from so many countries all over the world. The revenue that is generated from that program alone, that activity alone, because they come from other places, can be so enormous that permit me to say it can even feed the country. Just one activity. The doc talked about what may be of interest to me may not be of interest to the other person. Exactly. Now, he may come, doc may now come there to see the fish, the size of the fish that may be caught, which is a very serious attraction. The other person may come to see the boat regalia. The other person, like me now, what attracts me in Benue, I'm not from here, but what I love to see is their dances.
Okay.
Now, I pay to come and see dance. The right gentleman comes to see fish, for example. The other one comes to see something else. All of us are doing what? We are bringing our money to come and deposit. Permit me to use that expression. To come and deposit and hand over to the state. And when they hand it over, it ceases to be mine. It's now for the state, and they use it to develop, both economically and socially and structurally. So once, when doctor was talking about the tourist attractions and sites in Benue, I was wondering, is it not possible for Benue to have a world tourism site designated, given so many attractions and sites that we have in Benue State? Once you have that, you can be sure that, yes, there's challenge of insecurity, which God will help the state and Nigeria to surmount. But you can be sure that visits to those sites will be increased, and economically the community will benefit. Economically, the people will benefit because it will generate employment. Doctor has already talked about the social implications, social benefits. So it contributes so much in every way to the overall development of the community, the state, and the country.
All right. Now, let's look at the areas that the tourists can take advantage of in terms of investment, right? Because apart from government, this is also a sector that private investors can dive into. Dr. Wade, yeah. How can private investors take opportunity of investing in the hospitality and tourism sector?
Well, I can talk from the perspective of theater.
Very well.
You see, the theater as a collaborative art form can help investors in two perspectives. It is either you packaged a theater. I'll give an example. The Kwahi packaged it is in itself. You see, one perspective that the theater will synergize with tourism to make it attractive for a prospective investor. The theater can operate on its own. That means you are going to watch a performance. You are going to watch a show. Strictly theater. It features on its own. Again, there will be an activity that is different from theater. But the theater can be used now to boost it. It could come as an activity in a particular program that hitherto was not theater related. I'll give you an example. If you, like a fishing festival, like my colleague here said, a fishing festival is not a theater activity. It is fishing. You go there to catch fish. But how do you make it attractive for an investor? You need to bring in some things that will attract a variety of people with different and varying interests.
Yes.
It is this interest that somebody who is investing in this particular line, well, this too is always showcased there. For example, somebody who is in, let's look at even NGOs. And NGOs might be attracted to, can I use this dance now to go and campaign against malaria? How can I channel this into a discussion, into a skit, into what we generate discussion about the prevention of malaria? How can I turn this now to give hope to people living in the IDP? So the variety, what theater gives you a variety to choose from and see how you can manipulate it to suit what you want to invest in. If you look at in the cowboys in Texas, cowboys in Arizona, for example, they are cowboys. These are people who they're like herdsmen we have here. These are people who look after cows. They ranch them, and they move around on horsebacks, but they have creatively turned that to a show. People pay so much to watch a rodeo. It is an activity that the cowboys, those are the people who look after cows, they have said, well, how do we make this thing attractive? Let's see how we could manipulate, throw ropes, move around. Let's see how long can I throw this rope to now hang it on the neck of that particular cow now and draw it there. How can I do it better? How do I do it to, in a way that will attract people? So they have turned that to a sport. The real thing, the first thing there, the primary activity is not for sports. Is to look after the cows.
Very well.
But I've turned this to an attractive thing. So that's what theater does. Entertainment can turn a particular thing that was hitherto not meant for entertainment to make it appealing. So investors can actually catch in on this and do what they can't do better. That's that.
Okay, Mr. Abengowe, this is also your turf. But beyond what your institute is doing, do you collaborate with private investors, and what opportunities can they make of in the tourism sector?
Let me start with the hospitality sector.
Very well.
We train, that's what we call tailor-made programs. Tailor-made programs involves getting hotels, restaurant operators to be trained in specific areas of hotel management and restaurant management, food production. So we are working in collaboration with them. we organize, say, 2-day, 3-day training programs for them, depending on their need. And when we do that, it involves creating awareness as to what hospitality really is and what tourism is and how they are related and how two of them must work together, because they are like Siemens twins. You can't separate them. They must work together to deliver the mandate of that industry. Now, we went around and we saw that was when we came. We saw that there was only one very popular attraction, if I may use that word now at this point, for where people go to relax, and that's City Bay Park. That's City Bay. I don't know how effective it is now, but as a new person then, to me at that point, it was an attraction. I've not been there for some time now. Now, such people, park management, we get in touch with them. These are entrepreneurs.
Sure.
Now, we get in touch with them, assess what they have, look at areas of improvement. Doc talked about attractions. What can you add to what you have to make it more attractive than it really is now, so as to attract more people, more visitors, and in the context of our discussion, more tourists to your park. So these are things we do. Private organizations, government organizations, we are collaborating with all of them to ensure service delivery on our own part, and to also ensure that adequate knowledge is imparted to people who come for this knowledge, and adequate skill is also because a skill is not imparted, but adequate skill is obtained, as if I could use that, so that whoever the entrepreneur is a very major player in this case, because it's the entrepreneur that will provide the structures and the equipment and the facilities and the enabling environment for this. So if the entrepreneurs are now enlightened, which we do, it helps that. But the problem now is the entrepreneurs, when some of them eventually establish, they don't look for professionals to come and man them. Let me give an example. I have so much money, for example, and I go and build a mansion as a hotel, and I go and look for my cousin to say, okay, brother, go and manage that place for me, for as long as I'm seeing 1 naira. In the end, that place may not be the attraction that I intend it to be, because the professionalism is not there. So when we come in is that we ensure that the professionalism is looked into and practiced before whatever you have to offer can become an attraction, and before people tourists now can come patronize you, either for once or repeated.
All right, we're getting on. The listener, maybe you are just tuning in. You are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio. We are discussing World Tourism Day and Benue's potential in the tourism sector. We'll take a short break, and once we are back, our engagement will continue. And before we start taking calls, kindly stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break, dear listener. You are still listening to I Get Radio on Perspectives. We are discussing World Tourism Day. The number through which you can call in a few minutes away at 10 o'clock is 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. Once we start taking your calls at 10 o'clock, please remember to tell us your full name once you connect with us and where you're calling from. Move away from your radio, then you make your submission. Kindly keep it very brief to enable others also participate. The line for SMS and WhatsApp chats is 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. If you are sending a message or a chat, please remember to include your full name and the location address where you're sending your message from. Log on to our website on www.igetradiotv.com to listen to us and access all other content. On Radio Garden, we're there. Download the I Get Radio and TV app from Google Play Store and follow our social media pages where the program is also streaming there. Dr. Wade, before we start taking calls, let's speak briefly on the nexus between tourism and entertainment, especially with regards to festivals that could be packaged into entertainment to promote tourism here in Benue State.
Yeah, we have a lot. We are blessed with a lot. The Igedagba Festival, I appreciate the people in that region so much that they have tried and are still trying to make sure that the festival keeps floating, is still alive. I think they celebrate that every September. They have never failed. I follow the activities on the social media and I can see the crowd they attract there. You see, a festival has, it celebrates an event, something we must trigger a festival. Something must trigger a festival. The yam production triggered the festival, the Gedagba. And you discover that when you go to a festival, the yam thing, which is originally what brought it to existence, does not feature so prominently. The entertainment aspect takes everything, steals the show. People get entertained, people dance, people make friends, people eat and make merry. That is what a festival does. So the rest of the activities that attract, that make people enjoy themselves, theater related. So without theater, you just go in there, eat your pounded yam and leave. But the theater now brings a package. You don't just come to eat. We come to familiarize. We come to fraternize. It's like a cultural jamboree. So without theater, what I'm saying, and the emphasis is without theater, festivals and celebrations will be dried. Just go in there and then eat your yam, and then you stand up and you leave. But the theater brings color. I'm so happy. I heard that the state government, the government of Reverend Father Hassan Imamalia, now is keen on bringing the Thief Day back. The Thief Day should be celebrated, which is a very welcome, thought. Very welcome. I appreciate his thought process. We need to have something like that. We are theater. We now showcase the culture of the thief to the world. So a Thief Day celebration definitely we know will not just be, let's go and discuss thief. We go and exhume all the cultural activities of the thief people that have been lying low for a number of years, bring them back. You see, we have in the theater, there's an area called Theater for Development. theater for development is a theater that tells you this saying that what you are looking for in Sokoto is right here in Sokoto. That's the way I would describe it. You think you don't have a solution to your problem, but you do have a solution right there before, in front of you. You never harnessed it. That is what culture does. That's what theater tries to make people understand, that your culture is so rich. The fact that you're suffering from this means you have failed to explore the potentials of that particular culture. And theater does it for people. And so you take a theater to the people now, use their own language, use their own culture, all cultures of the people, their songs, their proverbs. Let them see how development can come from this. You don't have to wait on government to give you that. So that is what theater now does to a culture and to a people. I've also learned that the governor has directed that TIV should be taught in primary schools, in secondary schools. And if TIV is going to be taught, definitely TIV history will be there. Now, I ask
By the way, that directive is not just about, it's not only TIV, the indigenous languages in Benue,
exactly.
In general, Idoma, Igede, they are all included, just to put it proper.
Thank you for that. So if that is done, of course, all these cultures will now have a leeway to bring back what has been missing in this generation. And when you do that, for example, now, if you, Nathaniel, if I ask you, helped the people to cross a particular river when they were being pursued by some enemies or so. Now, where is that place? Now, if you teach history, and let's say the TIF history now, to a child in primary school, teaching now will now start the attraction, the curiosity. How do we see this? Where is this stream? And if you find that stream, then that stream now becomes what? A tourist attraction area. Let's go and see where this happened. Now, this is the place where the thief first settled. The thief and his wife first settled. You may not find the houses, but this could be the spot. And you make it a tourist attraction, but that is where a whole generation has come to evolve. That's their passage to where they are now. And you do that, and you don't just go there to see. Theater will now if somebody is commissioned to make a song on that, someone is commissioned to write a play on that. Let the play be dramatized, be dramatized in schools like that. Definitely. Theater is now helping to tell the story of a people. And telling of that story might start and it might trigger an attraction. And before you know it, a tourist site is created and people start visiting it.
Okay, we have a listener already on the lines. Let's engage with them before we come back. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Perspectives. Okay, you are on, but we can barely hear you, so try to call back 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. That's the number to be a part of the program. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, my name is Orahi Theophilus Akajime. I am calling from Wurukum.
Good to have you join us, Theophilus.
Yes, I want to make a small contribution on this topic of discourse.
Good. Go ahead.
Yes, the culture. The identity of a man is his culture, and when you leave this culture behind, it means you don't have any identity. We have replaced our various cultures with Western way of life, and that is really not good for our identity. I think there are ways that this culture can be revived. One, in those days when I was much younger than this, we will hear of the Kwahi festivals, and to the best of my knowledge, those things are not happening. And through these folk singers, we hear a lot of things, histories, cultures, in that regard as well. There used to be festivals about folk singers coming together to sing, and we get a lot of cultural knowledge about that we can talk about in our lives as a people. And I think another way again is this teaching of local languages in our elementary schools, the primary, to even
Orahi.
second.
Orahi,
Yes.
so kindly just conclude by tying that to how it will advance the fortunes of tourism, because that is essentially our focus. We are discussing World Tourism Day, not just culture in general sense.
Yes, yes. It will bring a fortune to tourism, because when you organize such festivals like the Kwahi and those other cultural festivals, they can bring a fortune even in terms of revenue to even the cultural sector, and the government can have a fortune from that.
All right. Thank you, Rahi.
So that's my take on the cultural issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. The Rahi is of the opinion that our culture can be used to promote tourism as well. 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. Also, the SMS line is available, 0912-699-9404. Good morning. Hello. Okay, we lost connection with you, but the line is open. Both the call line and the SMS line is available for you to be a part of the program. If you're not able to get through to the line for calls, simply send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. The SMS line again is 0912-699-9404. Good morning.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Welcome to Perspectives.
It's on the way down from my part.
Okay, good to unstable, I should think.
Okay, but are you hearing me now?
Very well. We can hear you. Go ahead.
So, I am trying to encourage each person to stick to their cultures and borrow just a few from the Western world as well as we are in the modern world. You see, these cultures, when people come, especially on tourism, and when we have areas like Africa Teaching Festival in Katinala, we have the Abengowe. If these places are made so attractive so that people from far and wide, when they come around, we showcase our culture, to bring the things to as a tip. And then these people will get to learn from us, and they will become interested in our culture. And they will like coming once and once again, and every year, every time. So if you even boost our economy and all that, so I implore people not to leave their culture completely for the sake of the Western world and brought post. Thank you.
James, thank you. Thank you very much for your submission. We should develop our sites. He also mentioned Ikwehi, which is one of the tourist sites, and of course it's good that he brought that up. Okay, 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
This is Kwaza Vincent calling from North Bank, Makurdi.
Okay, Kwaza, we're listening to you. You sound so low. Could you speak up a bit?
Okay. Yes. I greet the guests in the studio.
Thank you.
Yes, you see, Benue State is endowed with a lot of these tourism centers. If you see, you look at the River Benue, you look at the Kwahi Festival, you see the Akata Festival, you see the New Yam Festival. They are moribund. So if they can revive them, they can attract foreign people to come here, and then the revenue of the state will be projected. So if they can revive these tourism centers, it will help a lot. So we urge the government, the relevant authority, to look at these things and then revive them so that our revenue in the state will be also increased. Thank you.
Waza Vincent, thank you for your contribution. River Benue, one of the biggest, because the other day I was at the Benue State University overseeing the river, and a friend and I were discussing that this could be a wonderful tourist environment, because we feel beauty hotel here, overseeing the river, beautiful scenery. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Greetings to all the guests in the studio.
Thank you. I'm responding on their behalf.
Yes, this is the voice of Ado Bartholomew, all the way from Go West Local Government.
Okay, which part of Go West Local Government are you reaching us from?
Live and direct in Bachohan Council Ward.
Good. Ado, go ahead and speak to us.
Yes, I want to thank all the guests in the studio. One can attest to the fact that the present generation, if you talk about Kwahi, it will sound so strange to them. So we want to appeal, we want to call on all relevant stakeholders, traditional rulers, political leaders, the government as whole, to revive all these tourist centers we have. If we talk about the Ikogen cattle ranch, one would be asking, where is this Ikogen? But if happen that most of these activities are going on, if they should revive all these tourist centers we have, it will in turn boost the economic activity and the revenue of the state, and even the people there. It will also bring about employment of the youth and the old. So that is my summation for this. Thank you so much.
I do thank you for your submission. Okay, this everybody seems to be talking about reviving. Okay, the existing ones should be revived so as to give make the state become a tourist hub. 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. If you're not able to get through to the main line. But before we engage with more people, Mr. Abengowe, let me have your thoughts on what you make of the advocacy by callers that this site should be revived. Is the federal government, or under which your institute, National Institute, is, does the federal government have a policy of getting tourist attractions or sites in states revived in collaboration with state governments, maybe?
Not only in economics, even in tourism, there is division of labor.
Okay.
The federal government has its own role to play. The state has its own role to play at various levels, and the local governments have their own roles to play. Now, while the federal government does its own at that level, now the ones that are domiciled, the attractions, the events, the activities that are domiciled in the states are the responsibilities of the states to identify, to develop, to establish, to maintain. So while government does its own, the states need really to make extra effort. Now, I start to be corrected. I've discovered that even in tourism, entrepreneurs, that's private businessmen, are more competent in providing services far more than that of the government. I will give you an instance. I won't call names, but let me give this. In this state, there are government hotels that are barely functioning today. Barely functioning. You go there now, some of the one or two of them, you see grasses have almost overgrown the buildings. That's rhetorically speaking. Now, I was in a particular state, and I discovered that for 18 months, they had not paid their workers. Not in Benue. Government-owned hotel. And what was happening was this. the government will bring in their politicians. They'll go and lodge there. Some of them will make that their bedroom for life. They will not pay a kobo. You don't expect any development from that hotel, or from that hotel to contribute to whatever way to the development of that hotel. So you don't even talk about revival because it's already been killed, and there was no intention to revive it. Now, the same hotel now you go to a lodge in that hotel. Is the money when you pay? That's when they are now going to go buy and look for kerosene. They look for Maggi to cook the food that you eat. These are practical things. Practical things I'm telling you. So in that way, in that system, there is the services are not there. Maintenance is not there. They've established it, owned it, run it. You don't make it attractive to anybody.
Let me interrupt you briefly. Just a moment. I will allow you to conclude your thoughts. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
This is Salah TV calling from Georgia Kumewe.
Okay, TV, good to have you. Speak to us.
I want to, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing this program back to enlightening Benue people to know what terrorism is for. So when I was small, they used to go to Kwahi or first this New Yam celebration. That it be like it's a Christmas day or New Year day. People used to be happy, and people when it's time for all these things. You know that all our brothers, all our fathers, all our uncles that live also far away from the home. They used to be coming home to enjoy watching all these things. But now there's no more this thing. Then I want to call the Benue people, if there's a way that they can come back and revive this thing back, so that we get the joy of our Benue state back. Thank you, sir.
Aladi TV, thank you very much. It's the same advocacy for reviving what we are known for. Okay, let me allow you, Mr. Abengowe, to conclude your thoughts. So you were speaking about maintenance of maybe established sites that are owned by government.
Okay, now the doctor mentioned sites that are already in existence. Now, they have been established, but there's no maintenance. There's no way it will not go moribund. There's no way. So while it is the responsibility of the local government to identify tourist sites, and by the enablement of the state to establish it and keep it running, it is the responsibility of the same government to ensure that these sites are not for whatever reason allowed to go down. And that's where most governments have problems, even individuals. But that's why I tell you that the private sector is far more competent when it comes to maintenance, having maintenance culture, because they know that any failure will affect them. But most government don't care whether they succeed or not once they have established it. So then there need to be revival of the cultures, the traditions, the sites, the dances, and make the environment conducive for people to come. Now, in marketing, so you don't tell me where. In marketing, you say you don't know where I am until I tell you where I am. You don't say nobody will tell you there he is until the owner tells you that there it is. So advertisement is important, promotion is important. Now these tourist sites now that Doctor mentioned, I'm hearing most of them for the first time, and I'm in the industry. I only know a few of them. How many people?
If you are hearing them for the first time, then we are wondering what your institute is doing. But apart from just basically running courses to train people, it means you have not gone in the field to take a survey of what you have, the potential in Benue.
Not really.
Maybe.
No, there's number one. There's no way we can within this period go around all. We only know some. That's the fact. And we are working in tandem with the Federal Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism in assessing those ones. But we have to be also given, we don't have the mandate. We don't have the mandate to perform certain roles. We are limited, even if it's a federal government organization. Our mandates are limited. We work based on the provision of our mandate, and to which extent the state government, through the state minister of tourism, participates with us. But I must confess that thus far they have given us enough encouragement, and we are working in collaboration. We have, before my zonal coordinator traveled, we had activities lined up that will include. Let me even inform you. We are not only covering Benue State.
Yeah, your descent is North Central.
North Central. We are
Makurdi
covering six
campus.
We are covering 6 states.
That is the institute located here in Makurdi is covering 6 states.
6 states.
Okay.
So that's why it will not be possible within the time we came to this point to have covered much ground in terms of visits. That's just the truth. But we are making efforts to cover as much as possible and be able to enlighten people on the need for tourism. Once people know what tourism is, some of the challenges will be taken care of.
But how much of the sensitization are you doing with tourism and the potential it has?
Okay, a few months back, early this year, we went on TV at NTA. We made our presentations. We've been to Brothers FM to make presentations in form of adverts. We have visited some local government areas to promote tourism and promote our organization. And we also visited some hotels within the metropolis to sensitize them.
And maybe with our entire reach here, we never were factored into a platform that you could sensitize people until we have brought you on this discussion for World Tourism Day.
Yeah, actually, I must be honest with you. When I entered here, one of the first thoughts I had was a question to myself. I said, last World Tourism Day?
Yes.
My zonal coordinator featured here.
Absolutely.
Good. And here we are featuring again. Why can't we be partners? That was my thought. So
yeah, the partnership which we are open to, and of course, which is why we are providing a platform again too. So when you have a sponsored sensitization, we are wondering why we never benefited from it. But that's, by the way, I hope subsequent times you may look in the direction of Agate Radio as well. But that's okay. For now, Dr. Wade, you listened to the callers, majorly dwelling on reviving. To what efforts can be made with regards to reviving these tourist sites to boost the sector in Benue State?
Yeah, I think it goes beyond reviving or revival. I think we need to create, not just revival. We need to create. That is why you discover that most callers were emphasizing on the Kwahi.
Yes.
Someone mentioned the Ikwe. Is it a hill or wildlife? I don't know.
Yes.
But it's there. And
that's in Gwe East local government.
Yeah, the Bereg boom that we have mentioned. These ones, we keep talking about revival. But you had mentioned the River Benue, which we need to create. Now is creation. River Benue has never been has actually been identified as, officially as a tourist area.
Maybe because we are yet to develop any good beach around.
That's what I'm saying.
Banks.
So that's what we need to create. I remember listening to someone on radio, I think an expert, an engineer or so, that said the sand, the quality of sand that we have in River Benue can produce a very good quality of glass. I think glass is made from a components of sand. I think that's what he said. So it can produce a very good quality. And again, we mentioned if the River Benue, for example, is created, is manipulated.
I will actually beg to interrupt your thoughts. When I come back, I will allow you to expand more on that. Just a moment, Doctor. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you so much. This is Gata Paul Atachusa, behind Baptist High School.
Good to have you here, Agata Usupo. Speak to us.
Thank you so much, sir. I really want to appreciate the guests in the studio. And this is a very powerful topic. Benue is a virgin land that a lot of culture has not been tampered with. For we have a lot of tourism sites in Benue here, but only that our people have not taken their time to look into it. But now that you have raised this topic on the radio, I want to appeal to the government to look towards this direction, to invest into this Kyogen
Cattle ranch.
cattle ranch, yes, and then this berek boom and all that, so that Benue, the whole world will come to Benue and see the 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 natural land God has given us with a lot of beautiful things in it. And if you can check very well, just like the other caller say, Kwahi, when we were growing up, the best way we go in the evening and then relax was to go and watch Kwahi, how they display the masquerade and all that. And you see, they will design wood and like an army person will be firing a helicopter in the air, and you see it happening live into the Kwahi. That everybody will be imagining how they do it that way, but that is just the secret of Kwahi. And this thing have come to disappear. As you can see, this thing has affected us in Benue or in Thief Nation, that you go to some thief house that you know that this person is thief. They will not speak in thief language with you, including the children. Nobody will speak in thief with you. That is the way we have.
Okay, Agata also, thank you. Yes.
We have, no, just wait. There's this one.
Conclude now. Yes.
There's this one that even the singers in thief language, nobody recognized them. I was listening on the radio the other day when Obadia died. People were unable to describe who he was. Even his biography was mixed up. That is what we have. Neglect most of those things in our state. So now that this topic has been raised, this is the right time. Minister of Culture and Tourism and the Art Council will come together to set a foundation over this issue so that the town will be a better place for tourism. Thank you.
Thank you, Agata Usupo. Thank you for calling in. Okay. Yeah. We're going to talk briefly about some of these things, but Dr. Wade, you were speaking on creating new tourist sites using the River Benue as an example, which you were expanding on.
Yeah.
Yes, so can you continue with your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yes.
If the River Benue, the banks are made attractive, for example, if people build hotels around the bank, and there are activities around that area, let's say there are ferries there, people are moving around celebrating their birthdays there on the ferries. Let's say there is a canoe regatta. Let's see the first person who will row, the fastest canoe that can move from a particular point to another particular point, a competition. And then if we have guests in those hotels, of course we all know that hotels rooms that overlook
the river,
people pay,
or water environment.
They pay higher. Guests pay higher.
Okay.
Because you are paying and you're even enjoying the sight. That is an added, luxury, apart from the services you get from the hotel. You are still looking through your window, seeing the actions there. That is entertaining you, compared to a guest who stays from the other side of the hotel, who is not opportuned to look at the activities down the riverbank. See, that alone, and as a matter of fact, if we make the River Benue a very busy area, definitely most of the hostilities we experience here, herdsmen, farmers, will be reduced. Because it is the availability of the green pastures around there that actually attract herders. So if we keep it busy, how do they get into what we now attract the herders to come there to feed their cows? Feed them with what? So at least in terms of security, we will be better, settled, and we'll have more peace. That is one. If you look at, again, let's go back a little. The first act in 1977, one of the most historical event in terms of culture display and culture entrepreneurship. I think the first one was in Dakar, 1975. The following was in Algiers, and then the third, 1977, was in Lagos. As a matter of fact, do I say a city? Festac town came out as a result of that historical event, that cultural event that took place in Lagos. It has left a legacy for us. We have a town built, and people still reside there, and it has even contributed to the beauty of the town. And so I was saying, yes, it's good to revive, but it's also good to do what? To create. Now, if you go to Benue University, the staff club has an extension down to the riverbank. If you go there to serve your meal, to sit down there and enjoy, the luxury that the natural environment gives you, you will be so relaxed. It's a very good recreational avenue, because the Benue University Staff Club was able to move down a little to see. Let's see how we could do this more, and give it more attraction. And most times when we have guests, we have visitors in school, in the university, they go down there to look at the place and they marvel at the beauty of what we have. Remember, the tourist expertise here. People move from different countries to Israel for pilgrimage. That is tourism. They go there and say, okay, this is River Nile, this is River Jordan. River Jordan, Christ was baptized here, and they fetch water, and people buy with handsome amount of money, and the people there make so much money there. It's because of the attraction, because of the publicity that has given that country, and they survive purely on that. Israel makes money so much of that. Of course, it has to do with religion, but at least something, like I said, it's an attraction.
Maybe if they want to term it Christian tourism, right?
Tourism. Okay. So they go there to look at the sites that I've heard of.
Very well.
Because of the publicity that it's been accorded, by different religions. And so, I was talking about the creation of new ones. Let's create and let's revive. It's good to revive. Most scholars have been, hammering on the reviver, but they have missed it. See, when you miss something, you don't even think of what is not there. That which was there is no longer here. People are missing it, and honestly, they are saying it I know it's a total conviction. I used to enjoy Kwahi too.
Okay. All right, so creating new ones is a way to go to.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You are in a noisy background. If you may move away so we have our conversation peacefully.
I shift way small.
Okay, let's know your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Theophilus Abengowe from Abengowe here.
Good to have you join us, Theophilus Abengowe.
Yes, I just want to call on Shift so much for bringing this beautiful topic on this morning.
Thank you, Theophilus.
There is one festivity in Kebbi, a fishing one. I could not remember the name. I want to appreciate too. If that is done, I believe most festivals will be happening in our state also, so that people from outside the country will be coming here more of that, I believe the state government will be having more revenue. So I want to appreciate you and ask the state government to go ahead and do all those things so that we too will be benefiting from the revenue and all those festivals will be happening live in Benue State. Thank you very much for bringing that topic today.
Thank you, Theophilus. We appreciate you.
Right.
By the way, I think he's talking about the Abengowe Fishing Festival in KB, right? Yeah, so anyway, we have a prototype, Akata Fishing Festival in Kasara, so maybe it could be developed further to make something bigger than the Abengowe one we have. And when, Doctor, you mentioned about creating new ones, Rwanda here, the people go there for tourism, the Genocide Museum, right here in the heart of Makurdi. In Makurdi, the state capital, about 73 persons who were killed in cold blood by marauding terrorists are buried somewhere along welfare quarters. 73. To have that, maybe even though it's something that is sad, it can be a site to give a reminder of what has actually happened concerning what Benue has gone through, right? A moment, I'll be with you, Abengowe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my name is Yosende Osham from Asukunya. I'm from Yadeboko local government area of Benue State.
Okay, thank you, Yosende.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, I will greet you I thank you for the good program, bringing it on air this every morning, because it's a very comprehensive program that maybe it will activate, it will make us our tribe to be something in future more than as we are. I like it. Then, hello.
Yes, you're on. You're sending.
Okay. First of all, in Igbo, there is sometimes me and material. Sometimes when I go on air to fetch a picture in order or a design to fetch and sell it for somebody, you must enter an ankla. So if you enter the ankla, there is a celebration festival of New Yam Festival. Like we Benue here, can I say the whole of Nigeria, we are the only people who used to produce more yam, keepers of yam, in this our state. And there is no any other state that will compete yam festival with us, but we do not used to celebrate. Igbo used to celebrate it. If it been, we used to celebrate all those things. In our state also, we have got a little something that will support us. More than that, we do not used to do it like a thief day. We do not used to do it, but I believe that if you are doing thief day, if we are celebrating it, people will be very interested of seeing it. There is some languages that they used to even show our tribe growth. So I believe that they will be able to come and see how we are participating in our festival.
Okay,
so
thank you.
I thank you for the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, our yams, we have much yams. That's what Yosende is saying. We have yams. We should also create a festival celebrating our new yams. I'll be with you in just a moment. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning once again, sir.
Thank you.
It's Ado Bartolome back online.
Okay, Ado, speak briefly now.
Okay, I will be very fast. This topic we are discussing is long overdue. It is always good to explore the new places we have. Okay, interacting with the people, culture, you drink from their water and understanding their way of life. For a country as big as Nigeria, there are many cities, towns, states that have huge tourist-worthy landmarks and cultures, but they are not so the mainstream. If you are looking to explore, take for instance the Middle Belt region of Nigeria, take a trip to Benue State. We have a food basket of the nation. Benue State being tagged as a food basket of the nation. It's a home of beautiful cultures and hospitable people are there.
Okay.
Then one would begin to ask, places like the Iko and Hills in Kwandi, Makurdi Beach, that Benue State possesses a numerous and tourist potentials which are yet to be tapped.
Thank you, Ado.
One more thing the government should understand is the security of the citizens should be prioritized.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. We're so sorry for want of time and also to allow others have the opportunity. Mr. Abengowe, you were itching to say something, but again, before you expand your thoughts, let's try and wrap up with the caller so that when we come back, we should be concluding. Hello, good morning.
Morning this morning, Terry Gav calling from Traditional Market, Makurdi.
Thank you for joining us, Terry Gav.
Yes, I think the program on the board is a very nice program because, if by tourism and government turns its side to that side, I think it will be a very welcome development because we are talking about the unemployment across the country. So by doing so in Benue State, I think that will also help to reduce the unemployment rate that is almost rising. So for me, there's a lot of places that government can turn it as a tourism. For instance, where the Catholic used to go at Ayati, if that has been developed, it will be beyond Catholic because being in Israel or wheresoever people has been going as a tourism center or in the Christian way, it's a different nomination of Christian people that go to that place. So by doing so, putting those places in the good shape, I think that will also bring the economy, the economy of the state and the revenue also, it will rise. So I'm calling for the relevant authorities. Implementation is the key. I think those programs have been on the radio several, but let the implementation take place.
Okay.
So that will also help. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Terry Gav. Tourism, if properly harnessed, will create job opportunities, economic openings. That is Terry Gav's submission. Mr. Abengowe, let me have your thoughts. You were itching to say something.
Yeah, doctor said something that I find very interesting.
Very well.
How you collaborated in creating new ones. What attracted somebody 10 years ago may not still be attracting the person today. There are always new areas to explore. Now, you mentioned dark tourism, which is part of creation of new ones. That's what we call dark tourism, and that has to do with sites that don't have very pleasant histories.
Okay.
Where sad events took place. Well, we have the Hiroshima, for example.
Yes.
Now, when a tourist goes there, certain kinds of memories come to the fore. You begin to appreciate life. You begin to ask yourself certain questions. As a human being, am I qualified? Am I authorized? Do I have a pleasure in taking another person's life? If it were mine, will I take it? What is the role I need to play with regard to peace, with regard to living in harmony with my neighbor? Because we are talking about tourism for peace. So by the time you leave that place, you go out reoriented, as it were, with a new concept of how to relate with other fellow human beings. There are although it doesn't have to always be something unpleasant. There are also other things that enrich people's lives that could be looked into. I don't have examples now, but when people go there, you now begin to revalue life and you begin to see that life from another perspective. Let me tell you the truth. People who behave in certain ways, one of the reasons is that they have not gone beyond their locality. That's why sometimes you see this person always behaving primitively in terms of how he behaves, how he reacts to people, how he thinks.
Travel tourism gives the
travel
exposure.
Tourism, good. So travel tourism, you look at it from that angle. It's part of creation of coming up with new ideas to create sites, to create events, to create activities that will attract people to that place. And by so doing, every other aspect is taken care of in terms of employment, in terms of social development, in terms of economic development, in terms of structural development, in terms of revenue to the place and to the government.
Okay, that's fine. So, which is to say that the one I mentioned, I don't know if the state government has designated it already, but your institute may look in the direction of that. the phrase which you use, dark tourism. There is that dark tourism right here in Makurdi. The 73 persons who were killed in cold blood on New Year's Day of 2018 are buried somewhere along mobile barracks or welfare quarters road. They were killed. Have your thoughts now on ways that at the community level, local government level. Earlier on, your co-discussant pointed out it is also the responsibility of local governments to identify tourist areas. How can they take advantage of these local government level?
Yeah, I think in every local government there are people who are called cultural officers. Cultural officers, I think they can. I'm speaking from the perspective of a theater artist.
Very well. And that's who you are.
Cultural officers could, of course, they live, that's their own constituency. They live in such areas and they can identify communities that think they have an attraction. We have this particular thing here that we think the world should know. It could be a dance. It could be a dance formed after a particular event. It could be somebody who can sing very well and recall historical events. It could be a call to look out for artists and look out for their own works. It could be sculptors, and then look out for them. It could be cultural architects, people who were known for making this kind of roof houses, the beautiful ones, with different attractive features. You could have people who can play, for example, now in TV, the Da. This person nobody has ever defeated this person in Da. So that's a competition, but it's a cultural thing. It's a tradition of the people. It keeps them together. Look out for them and see how you could bring them to limelight and see how we could make it more attractive. I had said you may have a package that might not appear attractive, but the theater can give it that coloration, can give it that prominence, can bring it up for people, can project it. It could be a vehicle for you to project that which is not known to the outside world. Theater does it. It's a vehicle that promotes and puts out, like an advertisement channel that makes people to access what was hitherto, inaccessible. That's what the theater does. And so people in these local governments, of course, most of them are the cultural custodians to the things that we see later on as they get bigger. So the people who are in the tourism sector, like the person sitting here next to me, they know what to do. They know what to do to add color to it, to make it more attractive again and give it a wider coverage. So people at the grassroots, local governments, cultural officers, go outside there, see how you could tell us, or you could tell the world what you have, and then the theater will now come in now to make it, more marketable. And then again, of course, like the tourism department, of course, they promote and they market, they plan and they manage it. And then when they do that, the theater will now come in there to give it that color and sugarcoat it to sell and to look for more patronage in that area. So the theater is there to help you market, to help you project it and make it more attractive. It's a package that can be packaged well. Theater will give you that package. So, like I said, the grassroots, scout out, don't stay there, unnoticed. Bring out what you have, share it with the relevant authorities, and the tourism sector can go in there to check and look at it and say, yes, this has the potential to attract. So let's give it a bigger package and see how we could get more patronage in that particular area.
Okay, our time is really not there anymore, Mr. Abengowe. I'll request you to give your concluding words and a brief recommendation on ways of boosting the tourism sector, especially here in Benue State.
Firstly, the state government needs to really identify those areas of the hospitality and tourism sector that needs urgent attention and revive them, the ones that are already in existence, and then look for ways to create new ones. And then at the local government level, if the state doesn't have it yet, it's imperative that local government committee be established at that level. They are saddled with the responsibility of identifying, creating, and marketing and maintaining and running those training, and that's where Hotel comes in. They have to be trained to man these sites. Without knowledge, you'll be working in ignorance. If they have adequate manpower, they will be able to know when to create, identify and to create, and when to maintain and sustain, and then keep that tourism site or attraction or event running and improving for the benefit of the state.
Dr. Wade, give us your concluding thoughts in 1 minute.
Yeah, globalization has advantages and disadvantages. You see, the Western world has used globalization to sell their own values to us. So if we revive our own cultural activities, we revive them and we project them, we could still use the same channel to sell that to the other world. And it will become a two-dimensional thing. The Western world is gaining, we are gaining. As it stands now, the Western world is gaining and we are losing. We are not selling out. That was why I had said at the beginning of the program that I was so impressed when Professor Doki packaged Kwahi, took it to UNESCO, and it was taken to Colombia. That gave us prominence and put the tea people on the world map. So we need to utilize that channel maximally.
Okay, and this is where we conclude this edition of the program. Dr. Zack Wade is a lecturer in the Department of Theatre Arts at the Benue State University. He joined us here on Perspectives on World Tourism Day to share insight with us on the potential Benue has got in the sector. We thank you very much indeed, Dr. Wade, for coming on Perspectives.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Patrick Abengowe is the Student Affairs Officer and Head of Department Consultancy Services, National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, North Central Zonal Campus, Makurdi. We appreciate you, Mr. Abengowe, for your time.
Thank you so much.
And happy World Tourism Day to both of you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Dear listener, join us again next week, Monday, for a fresh edition of Perspectives. I am Nathaniel Nongu. Have yourself a great weekend and happy World Tourism Day to all Nigerians out there. Goodbye. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.